Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to jump right into a complication of diabetes that's as common as it is misunderstood: diabetic neuropathy. It's a silent condition affecting millions, and we're about to uncover what it is, the damage it causes, and the incredible science that's aiming to stop it in its tracks. So let's just kick things off with a number that'll really make you stop and think. 50%. Roughly half of all people with diabetes are going to develop some form of nerve damage in their lifetime. That's a coin toss, which really transforms this from just a side issue into a central challenge of managing diabetes. And this quote from a recent study, it just perfectly captures what makes this condition so cruel and confusing. Just try to imagine it. Your feet feel like they're on fire with pain, but at the exact same time, you can't actually feel the ground you're standing on. That bizarre, painful paradox is the reality for so many people. So what is actually going on here? What's happening to the body's own wiring? To really get it, we need to define what diabetic neuropathy truly is. And just to be clear, we are talking about way more than a minor ache or pain. Okay, so at its most basic level, diabetic neuropathy, or DN for short, is nerve damage caused by diabetes. The main villains here are chronic high blood sugar and inflammation, plus this thing called oxidative stress. The easiest way to think of that is like a kind of biological rust that damages your cells. All three of those team up to attack your peripheral nerves, leading to things like chronic pain and, in the worst cases, foot ulcers and even amputations. And make no mistake, this is not some rare side effect. We are talking about a massive global health issue. I mean, the number of people with diabetes is expected to hit 783 million by 2045. As that number climbs, the impact of DN is just going to escalate right alongside it. It is a huge burden, both for patients and for healthcare systems all over the world.
So you're probably wondering, how does something like sugar actually destroy a nerve? Well, the process is kind of like a toxic cascade, this chain reaction that all starts with one single trigger. Let's walk through the steps.
This really lays out that chain of destruction perfectly. It all kicks off with high blood sugar, which just completely overwhelms the nerve cells' little energy factories. This metabolic stress sends out these alarm signals, which triggers body-wide inflammation, and that cellular rust we call oxidative stress. And over time, this constant assault damages not just the nerves themselves, but also the tiny blood vessels that are basically their lifeline. Now, the tricky thing here is that this nerve damage doesn't just show up in one predictable way. A lot of us think of tingling feet, but diabetic neuropathy actually has a bunch of different faces, and frankly, some of them are pretty surprising. Okay, so the one you'll hear about most often is peripheral neuropathy. That's what causes that classic pain, numbness, and weakness, usually in the hands and feet. But then you have autonomic neuropathy, which is a whole different beast. It's way stealthier. It damages the nerves that control all your automatic functions, the things your body just does without you even thinking about it. And this really shows you just how widespread the damage can be. Autonomic neuropathy can mess with everything from your heart rate to your digestion. But, maybe the single most dangerous symptom on this list is hypoglycemia unawareness. This is where your body's internal alarm system for low blood sugar just breaks. It means you could slip into a really dangerous state without any warning signs at all. All right, so with a problem this complex, how in the world do we fight back? Right now, and this is a key point, the focus isn't really on a cure. It's all about managing the damage and trying to control the symptoms as best as possible. One of the most frustrating things for anyone going through this is that the usual painkillers, they often don't even touch the pain. You can be in total agony, pop an ibuprofen, and get zero relief. And as it turns out, there's a very specific reason for that.
And the answer is, this kind of pain isn't coming from a cut or a bruise. It's not tissue damage. The pain is coming from the nerves themselves, sending out faulty, haywire pain signals. So you need medicines that work on the central nervous system. That's why doctors will often prescribe certain types of antidepressants or even anticonvulsants. They're able to help quiet down those overactive nerves. So the best way to think about today's strategy is like a two-pronged attack. First and foremost, you have to go after the root cause. That means strict blood sugar control, diet, exercise, the whole shebang. But at the same time, doctors have to manage the symptoms that are already there, using everything from those specialized pain meds to physiotherapy. So while today's treatments are all about management, there is a ton of incredible research aimed at actually halting or even reversing the damage. And
This is where things get really, really exciting. Let's take a look at what's just over the horizon.
One of the most amazing frontiers is gene therapy. What researchers are doing is kind of like sending in a biological instruction manual. They can inject a tiny piece of DNA that tells your body to create its own natural growth factors. These factors then basically act like a construction crew, building new blood vessels and repairing damaged nerves from the inside out. It's incredible stuff. Stem cell therapy offers another incredible path toward regeneration. The idea here is to use what are known as mesenchymal stem cells. Just think of them as the body's master repair crew. They have this amazing potential to actually become new nerve cells, and they also release these protective substances that act like a support system for the nerves that are still trying to heal.
And get this, some of the most promising research isn't focusing on the nerves at all. It's focused on the gut. I know, right? But there's this growing body of evidence for a powerful connection between our gut health and our nervous system, the gut-brain axis. The theory is, if we can improve our gut microbiome with things like probiotics, we might be able to lower the overall inflammation in our bodies, and that could end up protecting nerves everywhere. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that even though diabetic neuropathy is a huge challenge today, the future of treatment is squarely focused on repair and reversal, which leaves us with this one big hopeful question. As science keeps untangling this incredibly complex web of nerve damage, are we finally on the verge of moving past just managing symptoms and actually reversing this silent epidemic for good?